Hello and welcome to the first real episode of Rock Your Mind. I am thrilled to have you on board for this passion project of mine, which I have been working on for so long. To begin with, I want to challenge you profoundly and talk about something as strange as dinosaurs in the 21st century. Exactly what? Yeah, bear with me and let me explain that further. I'm of course not referring to dinosaurs, which I promise you as an animal are very dead. I mean, recent movies like Jurassic Park may invite to thought experiments whether, they may have secretly managed to survive into the 21st century. I do read my sources, okay, and I'm a firm believer in science. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Dinosaurs are dead. Well, but the thing is the following. Thought-provoking encounters all the time, here and there, made me rethink this a little bit. Maybe dinosaurs have managed to somehow make it into the 21st century. But, and that's the point, they did so not in a way we would expect them to. Huh? Yeah. Well, to be more concise, they may have survived at a place where we would, in fact, never search for them. Inside of human culture. Pardon me? Oh my God, get me out of here. I can already hear you guys running away. Well, exactly this is what I thought when this idea of dinosaurs within human culture sort of happened the first time for me. My reaction was exactly the same before I set out for my little Indiana Jones adventure and before I went on a dinosaur hunt in the 21st century. Let me assure you, dinosaurs, in their very most dangerous form of existence, are very much alive. What on earth are those mysterious dinosaurs? Well, let me try to keep this as simple as possible. In the context of this podcast, dinosaurs are defined as discriminating patterns of thinking about a certain topic. And in fact, those dinosaur patterns of thinking, ideas, ideologies, or whatever they manifest as, are pretty dinosaur. Let me assure you that some eminent dinosaur authorities, such as sexism, racism, or fundamentalism, just to name a few, they can be more dinosaur than the actual creature, the real dinosaur, could have ever been. Why? Well, because those dinosaur ideas are A, dangerous, B, persistent, and C, just hilariously outdated. This is actually quite similar to the actual dinosaur animal, isn't it? If I believe my more than, credible sources, it's not like I have ever met one of those real beasts, to say I would know that from firsthand experience or something as cool as primary research. Always check your sources, guys. Do not believe things without critically thinking. Ever. Anyway, so back to my dinosaurs. Whenever I introduced this sort of, dinosaur concept to anyone, people were like, okay, yeah. But they also always asked me, where on earth can you find those beasts? Let me start with a few obvious ones. When opening the newspaper today, I could literally hear it roaring. Yeah, and I didn't even make it to page 5, guys. Patterns of thinking in almost all areas of life are actually thriving when you read a bit deeper into, let's say, the political section of literally every newspaper. In fact, some dinosaurs seem to have a very big comeback and are, to a certain extent, glorified when you study the, let's call it, interesting political developments, in so many countries those days. From certain ideas within the MAGA community, not just in the USA, by the way, to other more than questionable tenets of AfD voters in Germany. RAWR, right? Those are dinosaur ideas around race, around nationality or identity, excelling and what dinosaur ideas usually do: discriminating. And you know what? They do it really, really well if you look at how convinced some dinosaurs in, let's say, Italy actually are of what they're doing. Ouch! Let's say dinosaur hosts. Okay, for clarification, people host dinosaur ideas. They are victims of them. Let's say, I don't know, misguided, governed, possessed by those dinosaur ideas. Let's always frame people as victims of dinosaurs. Well, the dinosaurs did literally just run the show through them. You know, the more I did my homework as a researcher, and well, I did my sources because I want to make this as quotable as possible, the more I was shocked to have to come to terms with two truths. Number one has to face the fact that there is almost no area of life which is not colonized by dinosaur families, by dinosaur dynasties, I call them. Yeah, ancient and often anything but beneficial ways of thinking. Oh my God, in whatever form, and incredibly dangerous for both the host and everybody else. From the sometimes incredibly funny, or not, political dinos I've just mentioned before, to dinosaurs around the way we see gender, dinosaurs around the way we relate to money, to power, to status, or something as actually anti-dinosaur, such as religion or spiritual concepts. Dinosaurs are simply everywhere. And I will spend the next, at least 10 episodes convincing you of the opposite in case you may not want to believe me now. It really comes down to asking the right kind of questions. And suddenly, you start seeing them literally everywhere. Of course, I have to add here that it also always comes down to what one considers as discrimination per se. For some people, that's a quite flexible one. But let me assure you that only potentially rather less reflected people may know of something like a dinosaur-free area, because the way our world works is still a lot based on discrimination, on control, and ego per se. Well, and that's exactly where the shocking truth number 2 comes in. We, you, me, and everybody else, we are all dinosaurs as well. Hosting them, if we want to believe it or not. It is easier to spot when a dinosaur is discriminating against you, right? Thus, when we're actually dinosaur victims, when we are, let's say, bullied, facing dinosaurs because of our, race, gender, or spirituality, etc. There's a long list, okay? When the dinosaurs are outside, when you can literally see it, hear it, feel it. But, and that's something which I would argue requires a lot more humbleness and introspection. We are also all dinosaur hosts in a lot more areas than we may want to realize as well. For instance, the way we think or the way we understand things is often subconsciously so dinosaur. Have you ever, sort of wondered whether everything that you believe in is always good and only good for you, and for others, or whether there may be a dinosaur secretly at work? Let me give you a short hint to make this a bit more, digestible. Have you ever wondered whether the way you define your self-worth, for instance, is healthy, or whether a dinosaur idea around this may actually work against you? Or another one, have you ever questioned how interesting deeply instilled dinosaur ideas around gender identities can make you into a dinosaur, discriminating against other people as well? No? This is not you? You don't host dinosaurs, right? Well, nobody does, and everybody does. The thing is, this could already be a major dinosaurius at work. We all do host dinosaurs. Maybe it is much more about asking the right kind of, inconvenient questions. I hope to do exactly this in the next, let's say, 10 episodes, but I can assure you, we will find your dinosaurs. That's it for today already. In the next few episodes, I'm amongst others going to introduce a Dinosaurius dude, which I encounter way too often. the so-called Genderus dinosaurius. What a name, isn't it? Just one of many, many, many dinosaurs, forgotten, dangerous creatures, which I aim to raise awareness on in a hopefully digestible manner. To, of course, get rid of them for the benefit of literally everybody. See you soon.